Hi, everybody, and welcome to this information webinar about the Graduate Certificate in Technology Integration in the Language Classroom offered by the University of Colorado Boulder. This is actually a re-recording of the webinar that I offered on Friday because I forgot to press the record button. I did remember at the end, so I was able to capture the question and answer session. So welcome to this webinar. My name is Edwige Simon. I'm the director, the program director. I'm the advisor, and I design most of the courses. I actually design the program itself, and I teach almost all the courses in the certificate program. So just a few words first, maybe about my credentials. I've been working in language and technology and professional development for about 11 years now. I spent 10 years working as a foreign language and technology specialist at the Anderson Language and Technology Center at CU Boulder. And then this summer, I started working full-time on the graduate certificate. And I moved over from the Anderson Language and Technology Center to the Division of Continuing Education. So first, a few words about a certificate. A certificate is not a degree. It's usually shorter than a master's program, and it's usually a short course of study that is designed for people who want to hone their skills in a particular area. So the focus of the graduate certificate is language and technology integration in the language classroom. When you finish with the certificate, you can print out a official or unofficial transcript, and it will show that you have completed all the requirements for the graduate certificate in language teaching with technology. You can also take just one or two courses based on your interests, and they will also show on your transcripts, and you can use those courses for, recertification credit or simply to show proof of professional development. The certificate was launched in fall 2015. We offered our first course, and since over 70 students have taken some of our certificate courses. Right now, if you want to obtain the certificate, you have to complete 16 graduate credits. I'm trying to reduce this to 12, and so I'm in the process of writing letters and explaining to the graduate school at CU Boulder why 12 would be a better number. The certificate is offered by the Division of Continuing Education at the University of Colorado Boulder, and it is a fully online program. We have a mix of synchronous and asynchronous activities, so it's not self-paced, but there is definitely flexibility, and as long as you have the right time management skills, you should be fine taking on this additional work while you're teaching. A lot of our certificate students are actually in-service teachers. The focus of the graduate certificate is language teaching with technology. We don't look at technology in isolation. We really look at the ACTFL standards, we look at 21st century skills, and then we use often the SAMR model, and we look at technologies, the various technologies that are out there, and ways in which that we can use those technology to enhance our student proficiency, to create engaging activities, and really to fulfill our learning goals. The program is designed for language educators in the US and beyond who want to improve their technological skills, their pedagogical skills, and their linguistic proficiency. About the linguistic proficiency, we actually have a course that we call a virtual immersion course where you get paired with a native speaker of the language that you teach to work on your own proficiency. The cost of the program is $380 per credit hour. It's actually cheaper than most graduate programs out there. We will probably have a tuition increase this summer, and we have a page. I will share this these slides with you, but we do have few scholarships for the 3 credit hour courses, and we also have a page on the certificate website that explains where to go to get scholarships and financial aid. So you may wonder why you should take Elevate courses and maybe acquire the certificate will definitely allow you to acquire immediately applicable skills and knowledge. In all the certificate courses, we do a lot of lesson planning. We discover a lot of technologies, and there's always a project that you actually have to implement in your classroom. And so if you take certificate courses, you will have lesson plans that you will be able to implement in your classrooms almost right away. Hopefully the certificate will allow you to increase your chances of professional advancement. There is no doubt that schools are looking at professionals who know how to use the latest technology to enhance their student proficiency and intercultural competence. The certificate program will also allow you to network with language educators anywhere in the world. And finally, it will allow you to learn new and emerging technologies. In the course that we teach in January, we're going to look at technologies and practices that are not new. For example, we have a whole week on flipped learning. And so we will read the literature on flipped learning. We will learn from other teachers who have been flipping their classrooms for a while. We will look at how to create effective video tutorials. But then there's another week that I just added this year on augmented reality and virtual reality. And so that week is going to be a little bit different because we don't have a lot of data. We don't have a lot of research on how to use, for example, Google Cardboard glasses. These are cardboard glasses in our classrooms, but we will spend the week reading about what people are doing in their classrooms. We will look at Twitter feeds, for example, because this is what we have right now. We will actually all purchase a pair of cardboard glasses. These are $14, so they're really cheap. That's the only course material that you have to buy for the next course. And you will assemble them, and then you will play with them at home and in class, and then we'll talk about our experiences and ways in which that we can use this new tool in our classes. So a few words about the certificate and what it means for you to become a certificate student. You might have experience with online courses. All online courses are different. Some will demand a lot of work, some will be very easy. I will say that our certificate courses are demanding. It's definitely feasible. Like I said, we've put over 70 students through our courses this year, and everybody had a wonderful experience. I will share some of our students' quotes a little bit later in the presentation. However, it is a demanding program. It is a graduate program, and you need to be able to spend about 10 to 12 hours per week doing coursework. So it's not all at once. And after talking to some of our former certificate students or students who've been taking courses with us for a year, usually the bulk of this work happens on the weekend. So 2 to 3 hours on a Saturday, maybe 2 to 3 hours on a Sunday, and then at night during the week, especially if you're teaching. So you need to have those 10 hours available, but you also need to have good time management skills. There is flexibility in the deadlines, but there are deadlines that are important. For example, by Wednesday, everybody needs to have done the readings, because from Wednesday to Saturday, we have our asynchronous discussion that's taking place on the discussion board, unless that week we have a live discussion. But it's important that all the readings are done by Wednesday so that you can contribute to the discussion. In terms of technical skills, I'm in the process of assembling a page, but it doesn't really matter what your technical skills are, as long as you can write and answer emails, as long as you can manage your passwords effectively. We use a course shell. We use a course management system called Desire to Learn, so you need to be able to log in. You need to be able to remember what your login information is, log into the system, and really be willing to look around. Well, you don't need very advanced technical skills. What you do need is a willingness to try to learn new things, and even if you're maybe a bit intimidated, a willingness to ask for help. I'm usually pretty quick answering emails, but there has to be this grit and independence piece that I have here in my last bullet. You also need good communication skills, because although we do have live sessions, a lot of the communication between you and me, between you and the other students in the class, is in writing. So you want to be able to express yourself clearly and concisely, especially in the discussion forum. In terms of English proficiency, just keep in mind that if you're not a native speaker of English, all the readings are in English and all the communication takes place in English. So if if you're not used to reading, for example, research articles in English, just keep in mind that at least in the first 2 weeks, you might need a little bit more time to get through those readings. And finally, creative thinking and collaborative skills. We will do, for example, in the next course, some group lesson planning. And in terms of creative thinking skills, this is something that I want to emphasize, because there is really no recipe. There is no recipe on how to use Twitter in the language classroom. There is no recipe, there are no established practices on how to use Google Glasses, on how to use software for digital storytelling. And the only thing that we have is, our creative skills. How creative can we be in really leveraging the potential of technologies that were not necessarily designed for educators? So these are the expectations. These are the skills that you need to have to be able to be successful taking certificate courses. Like I said, it might seem like a lot, but it's just no different from a regular in-class graduate program. Okay, moving on to a sample week. So I'm going to show you the course shell for the foundation course that I taught in the fall. And so this is the foundation course. So this is our course management system, Desire to Learn. And all the certificate courses look like this. You will have the home tab, the content tab. The assessment tab is only to go take a look at the grade book. Under Elevate Communication, we have our discussion tab and our class list and the chat rooms. And then we have a main class document. This actually links out to a Google document where we all share our assignments, especially when we do group lesson planning. So if you scroll down, you will have my information, the time in Boulder, because all of our deadlines are in Mountain Time. And then this is the news widget here that I use to communicate with students, sometimes in writing, sometimes through little videos. And here you have the content browser. So I'm going to click on a week, maybe let's say week 3. And under week 3, we have one document. Going forward, actually, we will have the content will be broken down in smaller pieces. But let's take a look at this week, last semester, where we looked at technology integration model. You will always have a table of contents and a checklist at the top. And every week starts like this. You will have an introduction, and the introduction will be a narrative like this, a YouTube video of me presenting the unit, or sometimes it will be a small webinar or a presentation. And then you have the unit objectives, of course. And then you have the readings. And the hours that you see here, this is a very generous estimate of how long it takes to go through the readings. Elevate students tell me that it takes a lot less than that, but I think it's better to plan for more, especially in the first 2 weeks of the course, because you will be getting used to the format and the course management system, etc. So you have the readings and then the discussion, and then usually there is a short deliverable, and sometimes there'll be actually in the course that I'm teaching in January, there is also a technology integration project, and so every week you will do a little portion of it. So everything in the courses is very scaffolded. You will never have a giant project due at the end, but instead you will have a project that's literally broken in 9 or 10 pieces, and every week you move towards your project, and then you discuss your project with me and your classmates. But this is a typical week. I'm going to go back to my presentation. Again, to regroup, every week starts with a course introduction, some readings, discussions, a deliverable, and a portion of your final project. The discussions, I just want to say a few words about this. students in the certificate program are located anywhere in the country, sometimes anywhere in the world. We've had students in the Philippines, we have students in Japan. So it's really difficult to schedule live session where we're all present at the same time. In addition, I know from experience that we can have very rigorous discussion using the discussion forum, because you have time to compose your posts. You're actually replying to somebody because you have to. You can go back to the readings. There's actually a requirement that you quote the readings in your posts. So it's just, it makes for a more rigorous discussion, but it's also a very time-consuming aspect of the course. And so what we do is that every week, or almost every week, you have the choice between a live discussion and an asynchronous discussion. And I have a system to make that happen. Basically what I do is that at the beginning of each week, I send everybody a doodle where you tell me when you would be available to have our live discussion. It's usually 1 hour. And then I select the students who are all available at the same time, but I also select students who have not had a chance to participate in the live discussion yet. So it's a little tricky for me to organize, but this is a good way to make sure that everybody gets a chance to experience the asynchronous discussion and the live discussion. The live discussions are recorded, and then I upload them to our course management system, so that if you were not able to attend it and you're curious about what we said, you can watch them. We address the same questions in the live and in the asynchronous discussions. So, a few words about the next 2 courses that I will be teaching. This is the first one. This is the Tools in Practice course. It's probably the course that has been the most popular so far, because it really is a survey of not just technologies, but technologies and practices. The course starts January 14th. It's a 3-credit-hour course. It's 10 weeks. And in this course, every week, we're going to look, oops, sorry about that. We're going to look at a new unit. I keep doing that. So we're going to look at flipped learning, comprehensible input and technology, intercultural competence, digital storytelling. Actually, we're not looking at digital writing tools, but instead we're going to look at augmented reality and virtual reality. We're going to spend a week on digital games and gamification, a week on social media and internet safety, and finally we'll look at assessment. How to use technology for assessment, and how to assess the effectiveness of our technology integration practices. And so each week, again, we start with an introduction, we do a set of readings, we discuss the readings, and then you do either a lesson plan or a technology exploration. You will not have a deliverable every week. There will be a deliverable assigned every week, but you'll be able to pick and choose the ones that you have to do, and you will have to do at least 5. And then there is the technology integration project, and that's a project that you start working on week 1 of the course. You pick a topic, and then we discuss your topic, and then you start organizing your project, and you actually implement your project in the classroom, and then you assess it, and then you write a report, and you do a little presentation for the class to watch. So if you're not currently teaching, it doesn't mean that you cannot take certificate courses. We offer courses in the summer where nobody's teaching. If you're not teaching, it just means that you do everything, but instead of implementing your project with your students, you have an alternative assignment. That said, we have had students who were not teaching, but who were still able to find students or people who were willing to test their project for them. So there are options. These are just things that we discuss as you work on your technology integration project. The course after this one starts April 1st, and it's a 2-credit-hour course on telecollaboration. And telecollaboration is about how to pair students with students abroad, one-on-one, class-to-class, synchronously, asynchronously, and it's basically the same model. Every week there is an introduction to the theme of the week, and then you do some readings, you discuss the readings, and then there are some assignments. In this particular course, you don't implement anything in your classrooms. Instead, you test your ideas and your units on other certificate students in the class. Let's take a quick look at the curriculum of the graduate program, of the certificate program. So I mentioned earlier that this is a 16-credit program, but if you count all the credits on this slide, you will find 19 credits. And actually, this course here is a course that you can repeat twice. So really, all in all, you have 20 credits. And if my proposal to make this a 12-credit program goes through, I will make the tools in practice course and the foundation course requirements. And these 2 courses here are in bold because these are 2 spring courses that are currently open for enrollment. We have 8 students so far in the tools in practice and 6 students signed up, and so we cap at 15. All right. Here is something that Amy, who actually attended the presentation on Friday, wrote in one of her reflections. My journey of using educational technology over the past 9 months has been fun, fascinating, satisfying, and curious. During the past 9 months, my feeling of self-efficacy relating to technology integration have become more and more positive. I attribute this to taking Elevate courses and changing my mindset towards technology. And here is something else that somebody wrote about the virtual immersion course in the summer. I wish I had known about this course before now. I want to take more Elevate courses. I have learned so much and connected with such wonderfully inspiring educators and students. This is truly the best class I have ever taken. What's really interesting with the certificate courses is when I ask the students what's the best part of the experience, they never tell me it's the instructor, of course, or the course itself. They usually tell me it's the community. It's the having the ability to create connections with other teachers who are outside of your district, outside of your state, sometimes outside of the country, and discussing classroom issues, discovering technologies with them. So that sense of community is definitely something that students enjoy very much. Here is my last slide. If you have any questions, you can ask. You're welcome to contact these students. Margot she was a Spanish teacher and she moved to Germany this summer. If you wonder whether the Elevate program is a good fit for you, even if you're not currently teaching, talk to Margot because she's not currently teaching and she's taking certificate courses. Lee has taken a number of courses with us. She's also a really good resource. Trent is just started the program this fall. Olga as well, and Amy has been in the program for over a year now. So these are all people that you can reach out to and ask any questions that you have. You're of course welcome to email me if you have any questions. I'm going to add my email here at the end. And that's it for this presentation. Thank you very much for attending, and I really hope that you decide to start taking courses with us. Thank you.
Okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So my understanding is that for the certificate, students take all the courses you mentioned and you showed, but can students also take only 1 or 2 courses and just get credits for those?
Yep,
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. You know, it's interesting, the visual immersion course in the summer just attracts certain teachers, and a lot of the teachers who took the virtual immersion course, they want to repeat it and they loved it, but they're not necessarily interested in the other Elevate courses. So yes, it's really designed to be a really flexible program.
Okay. And what's the name of the platform you're using? I missed that.
So it's D2L.
D2L.
Mm-hmm. Desire to Learn, it's the Blackboard company.
Okay.
It's okay. It's fine. Any other questions?